Alright guys, Fulu come to you with another video. I hope all is well with y'all. Um, yeah, this video is kind of, I guess you can say, observational video about some of the events that are occurring in two places. My brother, Mohamedou Tall, shout outs to him. He brought it up to my attention on his Instagram story. But I've said this before. I've gone over this again and again and again. When you look at racism, you have to include imperialism with racism, and you also have to include neoliberalism in racism as well. So in Colombia right now, and I can't post the videos that I want to post on it because of the simple fact that I had some videos up of some violent events, and I guess either someone flagged them on YouTube or YouTube just removed my video that showed what was actually going on the ground level in these events, so they took it off and things like that. So I don't want to even go through that, because of the simple fact that I guess rather than seeing the events, the information is more important than the visual footage of what's going on. But two places in specific right now are going through it, and they're going through it for the simple fact that the United States of America is co-signing what they're going through. And it just goes to show you that America will pick and choose its battles when it wants to be a savior, when it wants to be quote unquote the good guy, when it benefits them. When you look at and I read this in a book, the only reason that the United States did not side with Germany in World War II is because Japan attacked them. Had Japan not attacked Germany, or had Japan not attacked the United States of America, then the United States of America would have been on the side of Germany in World War II. Now, another thing that had occurred too in the United States as well is that during apartheid in South Africa, the United States supported apartheid in South Africa because I believe there was some kind of monetary benefit for them. And also there was like a geographical locational benefit for them. I think they set up some military stuff. And also the simple fact is during that time, around that region in Rhodesia and the Congo and Angola and Namibia and all those places that they were trying to spread the apartheid, and the United States saw fit to jump in and send mercenaries there in order to, I want to say, keep control of the Congolese resources, at the time, since Congo was a big place that had everything needed in terms of natural resources. And unfortunately, the Congo has never recovered, from these activities. And so now the two new places not two new places, but the places that have now been a victim of this imperialist regime are Colombia and Palestine. So in Colombia right now, quite as is kept, they're not going to show you, but the reason why I talk about Colombia is because there's black people there, there's mulatto people there. So I will speak about anywhere where there is a significant population of black people, right? So when we start with Colombia, what's going on there is the simple fact that people are getting butchered on the streets right now. People are getting massacred on the streets. Cops are killing people at will, you know, and this is all due to the simple fact that, you know, I believe there was some kind of tax reform that was passed. And the problem with that tax reform is this the simple fact that COVID, you know, set that economy back way far. So people don't really even have the money for the taxes that in which they're demanding. And, you know, by them taking the taxes out, they're they're kind of left with nothing for their labor, you know, the labor that's available to them. So now, with that being said, you have a situation where it's like anarchy right now in Colombia. Um, People are getting killed on the streets, you know. Some people have sent me videos. Some of my Colombian friends have sent me videos and showed me how real it is. And people are getting stressed in the streets like it's no problem. Blood is literally running in the streets of Colombia right now. And the United States is quiet about it for the simple fact that they are backing things of this nature. You know, the thing is about the United States, it is very good at backing regimes that are very bloody. You know what I mean? As long as it gets its benefit, you know, as long as the United States gets something out of backing these regimes, they're going to continue to do it. You know, usually a regime that it wants to nationalize everything, wants to redistribute the resources that it has to its people, is numero uno enemy to the United States. That's why when you look at, for example, Cuba, when you look at Venezuela, when you look at, let's say, even Eritrea, North Korea, the former Soviet bloc before the Cold War, not the Soviet bloc right now, but the former Soviet bloc. When you look at all of these places, the thing that they have in common with self-determination and self-sufficiency, that they either were or are trying to achieve, you know. And because of that, because they are not serving the United States as a vassal state, they are public enemy number one. And in reality, they're not enemies at all. They don't have a track record of attacking other countries. They don't have a track record of, you know, escalating things with other countries. Most of their attacks have been based on self-defense. That's usually the situation, right? So the thing is with Colombia is that the war on drugs, that's what really did it. That's what really that's what really skyrocketed the whole how shall I say it, the United States involvement in Colombia, because millions upon millions of dollars went in to try to stop, or quote unquote, let's just say redirect the distribution of cocaine into the United States and into the hood, especially because of the simple fact that it's just one big machine that's lucrative. You have to understand something, that you know, once cocaine got turned into freebase, that's when money was pouring in. Okay. And it served it served a twofold purpose. The first full purpose was it got a lot of us into jail. You know, at one time, one crack rock, you could get 10 years. Okay. So, with that being said, you know, it also led to wars on the street, you know. Um, and I can say that how I'm still alive from that is, I don't know. You know, although I'm young, I've seen so much. You know what I mean? I've seen so much and I've experienced so much that I can't even say half of the stuff on this YouTube, you know. They'll probably ban me. But anyhow, with that being said, the cocaine was coming in, and most of the cocaine was either coming in from Bolivia, Colombia, or Peru. Most of the fish scale came from Bolivia, though. But when the cocaine came in and it got turned into freebase, you had now new laws being passed, and those new laws will put a lot of us away, you know. And because, you know, jails are privately owned companies, you know, a select few of people got extremely rich. Heck, I think Wells Fargo, you can buy stock in jails. I'm not quite sure. So that happened, and on the Colombian side of the thing, it just meant like millions upon millions of dollars going into fight drugs, and most of that millions upon millions of dollars would disappear into private leaders' accounts rather than be redistributed to actually help fight drugs, you know. So in Colombia, like a lot of Latin America, not just Colombia, but other places in Latin America too, you have a minority, usually Spaniard, you know, Spaniard looking, maybe having some ancestry from other places in Europe, who have all the money over there, okay? Whereas the average Colombian is, you know, scraping by. You know what I mean? That's why you find a lot of Colombians who live in Miami, you know. They go there. And so when you have this going on, and now you have this government that has millions upon millions of dollars to do its will and impose its will on people because of its ties with the United States. Of course, the United States ain't going to talk about these people getting butchered on the street. I'll give you a perfect example. In Nigeria, when they had the SARS situation going on, Great Britain didn't say nothing about it because they funded SARS. So they weren't going to talk about it, you know? And so that's what's going on in Colombia right now, okay? Now, the other place that people don't realize that there's actually black people in is Palestine. Believe it or not, there's two waves of black people in Palestine, and I'm not getting into these whole we're indigenous to the land, and I'm not getting into that whole thing, okay? I'm just giving it based off of my research and based off of historic facts. So you have one wave of black people in Palestine, or two waves. I mean, the first wave is the first wave is that they're native to that land. Okay, they're the native black Arabs to that land, meaning they're like black Bedouin. They've been in that land. They've been there longer than anybody else has been in that land. Because you have to understand something. The original Arabs were a dark-skinned people. So a remainder of them, I guess, are still there. So that's the first thing you have going on. The second wave of black people happened from mostly from West Africa, because what happened is in a little part of North Africa too. So what happened is, on the way to Hajj, on the way to pilgrimage, you had pilgrims from Nigeria, from Ghana, from Senegal, from Chad, Sudan, and those places who either on the way to pilgrimage they settled in Palestine, or the way back from pilgrimage they settled in Palestine. So you have and you have some of them that were part of the resistance, part of who, in fact, I think there was one Palestinian, Afro-Palestinian woman. She was a part of Yasser Arafat's Palestinian Liberation Front, I believe. I got to do my research and find out, but I think there was one. But the Israelis are doing the same thing that the Palestinians, that the Colombians are doing. They're shooting people at will. I think they shot a 16-year-old guy in the head, 16-year-old kid in the head, and then they shot a grandmother. They shot her dead in the street. They ransacked the Masjid al-Aqsa. So they're really getting more predatory. But you have to understand something. In my humble opinion, I think Israel is more powerful than the United States. As a matter of fact, I think the United States actually does Israel's bidding most of the time. You have to understand something. Israel gets more aid than any other country in the world. And it's one of the most smallest countries, but it gets more aid from the United States than anywhere in the world. Okay. Most countries, however, agree that there should be a Palestinian state, but the bigger ones agree that Israel should be the head honcho, and that there should be one Israeli state. So you have to understand the tentacles and the reach of Israel. The reach of Israel extends so far that we can't even wrap our hands around it. You have the reach of Israel in the music industry, because who runs that? Mostly Jewish people. You have the reach of Israel in the entertainment industry. Who runs that? Mostly Jewish people. You have the reach of Israel in just the medical field. Who's in that? Mostly Jewish people. If you go to, I can name at least at least 3 neighborhoods in my sector that are a majority Jewish. Westwood has a lot of Jewish people. I believe they have a synagogue as well. Pico Boulevard has a Jewish quarter. I believe in Santa Monica too, they have a Jewish quarter as well. So these are Israeli Jews. As a matter of fact, one time, one Israeli Jew said that he didn't like Cristiano Ronaldo because he didn't support the state of Israel. He said that. So, with their influence so big, they can get away with anything, including killing Palestinians, and the country, this country that is so big on humans, quote unquote, human rights violations, will not speak on it. The only time that the United States will talk about human rights violations is if there is some benefit to be gained from them in the material way. So that's the double standards that you see with this country. And so all I gotta say really is that you know, it will choose its battles. The crazy thing is, it was almost darn near ready to go to war with Venezuela over nothing, over resources, because the ground level is different from what they present to you, you know. But anyhow, I just wanted to do this quick video about that. My prayers go out to the Colombian people, man, and my prayers go out to the Palestinian people, and specifically the black people of that population. My prayers definitely go out to them, because they're fighting two battles. The black people are fighting a battle of, number one, marginalization, and then number two, they're fighting a battle of dealing now with this government. You know what I mean? And I guess you can hear there's a third battle, and that's just having their voices heard, But anyhow, that's all I got to say about it. Prayers go to them. Just more double standards in this country. It just chooses the battles which will benefit it materially. And that's just the bottom line, man. But anyhow, y'all can check it out. Like, y'all can maybe go to Instagram, and there's some people posting the violence that is going on in Colombia. Right, I will tell you, people are getting butchered, like shot in the head and everything. But anyhow, man, that's all I got for now. Fuller signing out. And John on